On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
Love is just something that you feel. So you can absolutely feel love for someone. And that doesn't take away from the fact that there are other factors that matter. But in terms of being able to love someone, yes, you can love someone that doesn't provide you with every single thing that you want.
What's wrong with Anton? So you got that hood on.
Cause all my caps are still boxed up. all my caps is boxed up, so I just gotta. Oh my God, Jesus K.
Are women capable of loving a man?
Yeah,
Just with him?
this is definitely where I would say no. Women are not capable of loving a man just for him and not what he can provide. I mean, this goes back into some of the conversations that we've been having for the last couple of shows, right? We talk about a man being in his purpose. We talk about one of the purposes of being of a man is being to protect and provide. So if you can't protect and provide, and then we go into, love, and we talk about it being emotional feeling and all these different things. And I kind of rooted in something else that's biblically based. But even with all of that said, there's no way, if you're not protecting and providing for that woman, that she's going to be able to love you, to Danielle's point, unconditionally, right? It may start off that way, but then it becomes conditional. It comes to a head where it's like, okay, fam, these bills need to be paid. This oofy goofy feeling that I have on the inside is not sustaining the family. What are we doing? What is the legacy? What are we building? So it goes back to what we've been saying, at least as I got on the program about, casting the vision, building the legacy, being in your purpose, so on and so forth. So no, a woman cannot love. No, capable. I understand what you're saying, Kay. I do understand what you're saying. Humans are capable of a lot of things, but in context of what we're talking about and to the general masses and what we know by life experience and what we've seen and what we know to be true, women cannot love a man just based on potential, man. You got to be producing something. We don't have these songs, ain't nothing going on but the rent. You got to have a J.O.B. to be with me. I don't want no scrub. Like, we ain't having these songs for no reason. What's some of the other ones, Courtney? What's some of them other songs them the women be singing?
Some Tina Turner. What love got to do with it?
I mean, all these songs that the women, not the men, because if you listen to what most of the men are singing about in R&B, they singing over agony and heartbreak over their woman, right? Not that they didn't provide for them, because if you look at a lot of these documentaries that we see, a lot of them did provide for them. So, if a man, that's his primary purpose, man, to protect and provide for that woman, cast that vision and be the leader in the household. And if you ain't doing that, man, she ain't on your program. Nah, she ain't capable of loving you, man. And she ain't supporting that vision, and you ain't getting that extra-ism up out of her. Period, point blank, in a sentence.
All right,
Anton.
Rilla, I think that was an absolutely profound, true thing that you just said. And so I have to congratulate you and say that I rock with that. See, I'm objective. I'm a call it out when I see it and I don't agree with it. And then I'm going to rock with it when you say something great. So I absolutely agree with you. But I think that the problem with this conversation in a lot of ways, and Kay, this directly pertains to how you communicate and how you take things, is that you don't really consider the context in which we have in a conversation. You'll take every single word and dissect it and all of this other type of stuff. Yeah, okay, so I can do that too. I can say, well, I love you like I love a dog. I love you like I love my pet roaches or whatever like that, right? Like, I can come and dissect every single word and make it mean what I need it to mean in order to try to prove my point. But the reality is, we talking about the majority of how people think in a general sense today. And in a general sense, women do not align themselves with men that are unable to provide and protect. That's just the truth.
Then that should have been the question. In a general sense, do women align themselves with? This is a whole different question. If that was the question, it would have been a different answer, from me at least.
Okay, so let me ask you a question then. This is beautiful. I'm glad that you said that. So let me ask you a question. In the context of the conversation, are you willing to be with a man? Are you willing to be with a man that is unable to provide for you?
No, my man provides for me.
That's not what I asked you. I didn't ask you about your man. I said, are you willing to be with a man? See what you did? But do you see what you did? Wait. I'm giving you an example of exactly how you communicate. You start to add different things into the conversation that wasn't what I asked you. Wait. Because if that, stop, Kay. Stop. Because what I just did is exactly what you just complained about, right? I asked you a specific question because you just said a couple of minutes ago, well, that wasn't the question. And then I just did the same thing to you. But in order to add context in a realistic situation, you added this additional content in order to help me to understand where you're coming from. So what I'm telling you is that you need to be more genuine in your ability to communicate and talk about exactly what we're talking about, because it does you no good to throw all of these other factors into the boiling pot, because it just makes it taste nasty. It doesn't make it more edifying. It doesn't make it more digestible. It doesn't make for a better experience. You're moving the goalposts as you see fit, but then when it's convenient for you, then you'll throw in additional content and then ask other people not to do so and abide specifically by the question. So when I ask you a question, would you talk to a man that cannot provide for you? It's a yes or no.
I literally said no. And then I said, my man provides. I literally said,
but we don't need that extra context. We don't need that additional context.
Run a tape back. I literally said, no, my man provides for me. That's what I said. I said no.
Why do you say no?
Because my man provides for me, and that's me. But the question was, are women capable? It didn't say, Kay, what do you want?
We're not talking about that. We just, now we asking specific questions.
I know. I'm saying that I said that because that's me. Y'all ask these questions about the broad generality of humanity and all these things and expect me to give my own personal answer. If you want to know something about me, like Anton just asked me, and I said no. Whereas my answer for are women capable was yes. So you see how the difference is. For me, that's a no. My man provides for me. I'm not.
But I didn't ask you about your man though.
I said no, period. My man provides for me.
Okay, I have a question. You said no, and let's not talk about your man. You said no. Why did you answer no? Why? Why could you not be with a man that doesn't provide for you?
Because I have my things together, and there's a certain man that I would look for or want.
I'm sorry, say that again. Because you have your stuff together, and
is it because of the roaches?
I don't understand.
I have a question
Go
for
ahead.
Kay. So do you feel like when we're talking about women who aren't being provided for, is that synonymous with not being fulfilled in a certain way? Do you see those things two going together? Like a woman who's not fulfilled in a certain way, maybe not 100%, but there's something unfulfilled if she's not being provided for?
Right. And you know what? And that's what, like, when I first answered the question, I brought up, like, if we're talking about finances or if we're talking about emotional versus mental or whatever, like, there's kind of different things that we could be talking about. But in the general sense, are women capable? Yeah, because there's women that are in head over heels in love with all different types of men. I mean, is that me? No.
Right. But do you think those women are unfulfilled in a certain way if they're head over heels in love with a man that's not providing for them? Is there a possibility they're unfulfilled most of the time in those situations in a certain way? Maybe they're fulfilled in one way, but unfulfilled in another way.
Is there a possibility? Absolutely.
Most often that's happening. Well, I would assume if she's not being provided with something, that's a lack, right? So, that's a lack. If she's looking at the world and saying most people are being provided this, but I'm not, unless she's just ignoring it and in denial, there's a lack there, right? So in my opinion, if that's head over heels in love with something that's deficient, that sounds like codependency and not love.
You bring up a really good point, and I'm glad that you brought that up. So like, I get what you're saying, because you're saying like, could there be a deficiency, and maybe that's like maybe going to make the woman like, wait, what's going on? So if a woman is with someone who can provide her with the life she wants, but maybe he's always at work, or if a woman is with someone who provides her with all the emotional and physical and mental, whatever that she wants, but he doesn't have much money. Like, I'm thinking of it like that. Like, you can absolutely love a man in either of those situations, even though there is a lack. Like, there will sometimes be a lack. And then where do you draw the line where you leave your man? Oh, my man, I'm married and my man lost his job. Now I'm gone. Like, where do you draw that line? I think
the line gets drawn when the lack becomes something that is a choice. Like, for instance, people always say, would you rather be crying in a Honda or crying in a Bugatti or Mercedes? Like, if the man is providing you simply and merely with emotional support, he could revoke that immediately, right? And you have no legal rights to his love, right? So you have nothing. All of a sudden, zero. Right? At least if he's providing you with something material, if he revokes his love, you got something, still something you could hold on to, something. You are not zero with nothing. Like, and that's where we go with the hypergamous nature. Women want to have some sort of foundation if the love becomes lost. That's where marriage becomes more than just about love.
Yeah, marriages are absolutely more about love. I mean, more than just love. I completely agree with that. I think there's a lot of things that go into relationships in addition to love. So I agree with you on that. I just think that when we're talking about a lack or something like that, there could be a lack that someone has, or someone feels like their man has, or their woman has. That doesn't mean that they are no longer in love with them. Like,
if the lack is the emotional love, then that woman has nothing anymore. What does she have left?
Yeah, when you mentioned that it's about what's a choice, I get that, because then it's like, you don't respect me if you're choosing not to do certain things. That's different from you're trying, but you might be in a certain position or whatever.
I'm gonna let you guys get your final points. Start with you. Now, your final point on this.
Yeah, I mean, I think a woman can obviously choose if she wants to, live in a situation where the only lifeblood of the relationship can, just like with a choice, be gone and there be nothing left. But I think most women, and I think the logical choice would be to, have a provider to be attracted to be in love with, because if there's nothing other than emotional tie to that man, then you don't got much. That's just the truth.
All right, Kay, final point.
I think that women are very much capable of loving a man who may not provide all the things that they need. I mean, of course, ideally, you want to work through these things. Like Danielle said, it's a choice. You want to see that your mate is trying to do what they can, to keep you or provide for you or whatever. But in terms of loving someone, love is just something that you feel. So you can absolutely feel love for someone. And that doesn't take away from the fact that there are other factors that matter. But in terms of being able to love someone, yes, you can love someone that doesn't provide you with every single thing that you want.
What's wrong with that, Tom? So you got that hood on.
Because all my caps are still boxed up. all my caps is boxed up, so I just gotta. Oh my God, Jesus, K. Oh man, I just can't imagine. So you say, yeah, I'm not gonna ask you no personal questions, because I'm just wondering if your man lived with you. Jesus, I don't see it. I just can't see it, man. I don't know, JR. I'm not built for that. Corporal, what is that? Discipline, whatever we talked about, adult correction, domestic discipline. She would be getting domestic discipline with no all every day, bro. Every day.
Hey, the answer you seek is in the Facebook group. Join the Lapeef Let's Talk Show Facebook group ASAP.